Hello and welcome to the GhostÉire Channel. My name is Anthony Kerrigan, and tonight we are joined by Karin Beasant, or Karin. Is it Karen?
I don't care.
Joined by Karen anyway. We're going to be talking tonight about the paranormal consultant for the first topic. And then for the second third of the show, we're going to be talking about the Jamaica Inn situated in Cornwall, England. And then for the last topic of conversation is going to be the Supernatural UK, which I'm really thoroughly enjoying at this moment. You can
Thank
watch
you.
that on currently at the moment on YouTube. If you have any questions for Karen, please you can put them forward on this live stream. You can also go to our website www.ghostére.net, go to the contact page, fill in the blanks. If you have a personal message, just put in brackets private message. If you're affiliated with any paranormal team or tourist attraction, feel free to name the group or the organization, and we will also give a shout out to you. We're coming live here through Facebook, but also from our website, www.ghostére.net, which is on the homepage. You can see the red button which says the GhostÉire Channel. Just click on that. That will bring you to the live feed, and you can see past shows and see what is coming up in the future from there. So you also have a chance to enter our competition where two of you this time will have a chance to win prizes in a Halloween mega draw, which will be drawn coming up to the weekend of the bank holiday weekend of Halloween around that time. And you could also win cash. So stay tuned. A few of you already commented. I will come to your comments. Quiver from Paranormal Adventures Ireland says, so excited. Great to see you there, Quiver. And also Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan from County Fermanagh. How are you doing, Jonathan, there? If we're having any technical issues, just let us know there, folks, if you can't hear me there as well. So without further ado, we're going to talk about the paranormal consultant. First of all, then, what made you decide, Karin, to establish the organisation?
Well, myself and Lisa, we've been friends and para friends for many years, and there's a charity location just outside Bristol called the Warmley Clock Tower, and I became associated with it. And then myself and my old team, South Bristol Paranormal, spent 2 years studying the place. And I had a meeting. I said, why don't you open up to paranormal teams, etc.? So we had a chat with the trustees. It was all very new. You weren't too sure how it was going to go, but it's been an amazing success. So this charity venue that's a community hub for locals, you can hire it. There's now we have a goddess temple and we have an art centre as well. They were struggling financially to keep the doors open. The paranormal hire in the last 8 years has given them such a great bank balance. They spent £5,000 recently on stair lifts for 2 floors, making it more accessible for those with, mobility issues. And we've only had to ban one team for leaving it in a mess and being a bit disrespectful. But it shows how the paranormal community, whether it's a public event company or a team or a YouTuber, can do such good and bring revenue in. So a couple of years ago, me and Lisa, because obviously she's part of the Jamaica Inn team as well, and I have been working with a company called Visit Somerset, who is a non-profit organisation who advise the industry. So like Shepton Mallet Prison, Wookey Hall, some famous locations in Somerset and some non-famous ones, plenty of museums, that sort of thing. So we wanted to give something back, and it's all voluntary at the moment because we're silly because we love doing it. But also we realise that, as we know, some locations have notoriety of made up history.
Yes.
And for me, who's passionate about history, yeah, we can get it wrong, but some are made up to fit the paranormal narrative.
Yes.
So we think, well, how can we protect a venue? So you may have a small museum that knows nothing about ghosts. It's usually run by trustees, probably in their 60s and 70s. So how do we protect its history and it doesn't become the evil den, and it's brought out like that. And that was the reason why. And when the coaching group bought the Jamaica Inn, they have so many beautiful, iconic coaching inns across the country
Right.
that we thought, right, we spoke to the CEO, why aren't you extending this? And lucky enough, we've got we helped the Talbot in Andor, which is famous for Mary Queen of Scots. Her
Oh, wow.
executioner stayed there. It's an amazing history. And recently, the Swan Hotel in Wales, Somerset. So Wales is the smallest city in England.
Okay.
And you have the famous Wells Cathedral.
Right.
But the hotel was founded by a charter of the Wells Cathedral in 1422.
Right.
So the history of that place, famous people from Churchill, from Judge Jeffreys, the Duke of Monmouth, who's famous for the Monmouth Rebellion, all that, but we have to make sure that the history is not distorted.
True.
And that's another big part. So it's a lot of time when you're setting it up for paranormal hire. We don't run it, we give it to the location, terms and conditions, an A to Z to staff, because as investigators, we go to a location, we don't want to investigate when there's a wedding or a party. So it's letting the hotel know of expectations by paranormal enthusiasts, teams, public event companies, but also as someone who's been in hospitality, myself and Lisa have, of what we expect behavior wise from investigators. So you see it from both sides.
Yeah, and it's interesting as you said there, like about, I suppose you can advise them in certain ways, and then you could ask them for information on when's the best time in their schedule to have these events. Like, is it a
Yeah.
weekday? Is it a weekend? Is there any festivals happening around, as in noise pollution, or people trying to get accommodation somewhere? There, would that be coming to effect? Would it as well, Karen?
It's exactly, and it's also when I started in the paranormal 17 years ago, I was so green. You don't think of responsibility. You don't think of other people's feelings. And ghosts were entertainment, novelty. And if it wasn't for few people in the field who, poor things, got to know me, and they're still friends today, I can't believe it. They took me to one side and said, right, we're not telling you what to believe, but have you thought about ethics, integrity? And it's like, oh, crikey. Because we were brought up, I mean, my mother's 97 in German. I won't drop a piece of litter. I was brought up very strictly.
Okay.
And one big no-no that we're finding are teams investigating churches and churchyards without permission. They don't realise it's not allowed, but it upsets the Church of England. It upsets the religious houses.
Yes.
Perfect example, there's a church, I won't say the name, in Cornwall, and it was open 24 hours. Now, I'm not religious. I love going to churches, but I respect the religion.
True, yeah.
And I love the architecture and the history of religion.
Yes.
Now, a team went in on the Thursday night, discovered it was open. By the Saturday, another team went in, did a live, lit it up in red light and called it the Evil Church. The Sunday, I spoke to the church warden, a woman in her 70s, who cried on the phone.
Mm.
She felt as if the ghost hunters, whatever she called them, ghost hunters,
Yes.
had not just disrespected, but it's like having a burglary in your home.
It is, yes, because it is her home as well. She's
It's
living,
She's the
yeah, close to,
warden. She
yeah.
was so upset, and she said, "Now I have to go out every morning and lock it back up before
That's a
dark."
shame. That's a shame. That's a shame.
It's Yeah, and like I say, it's not for me to please, same as with Lisa, but
Mm.
just to say, have you thought of other people's feelings? So that's another
Mm.
part of the consultancy, is
Mm.
making people aware of the trespass. And the
Mm.
Church of England became so concerned 3 years ago, they wrote a white paper and the section of antisocial behaviour, because the staff were told not to confront people. That's so
Mm.
sad.
And as going back, just touching upon something else there as well. Obviously, have you had locations that have had paranormal teams do public nights, and they've fallen out of favour with them, or they've disagreed of how their ethics are, and they've
Yeah.
come to you? Is that's happened? Is it?
So I talk to lots of locations. Because I've looked after the Jamaica Inn, I might advise
Mm.
others. There is a network. I'm not going to say which locations. We all speak
Mm.
to each other.
Mm.
So if one will ring up and say, "This team were so disrespectful, I never have them back," we
Mm.
then say it to the others. Now it's up to all the venues, and I say, right,
Mm.
why don't you ask for a reference from
Mm.
another location? I've had
Mm.
to do a reference for a secret town hall one that I did. I didn't
Okay.
mind. I went to the Jamaica Inn, to the manager, said, "Can you write me a reference, please?" I
Mm.
didn't sit there and go, "Oh, don't you know who I am?"
Mm.
You
Yes.
know, that's very arrogant. They
Yeah.
don't know you from Adam, but they were giving you the keys and trusting you with their property. And I
Yeah.
think that's a brilliant idea.
Yes. And as you said there, about you've been doing it for a good few years now. Was it? Is it how long has it been going? The paranormal consultant, about 8 years. Do you say?
No, the consultancy, we did it in the background, but we brought
Mm.
it out just about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And, I've been working with Visit Somerset 7 years,
Yeah, okay.
and that's all voluntary.
Yes. And have you seen an increase in places, historic places, wanting to do this kind of genre of
Yeah,
events?
but they're very hesitant. So places like
Mm.
English Heritage National Trust,
Mm.
obviously, and especially small museums, the funding has all been cut, especially since COVID.
Mm.
But they have this idea of us as all weirdos. I know we're weird, but running around,
That's good.
being disrespectful,
Mm.
and we're all different. We all have
Mm.
different beliefs, but
Yes.
99% of us know when we go to places how to behave. I've been lucky enough to be invited to investigate churches, but I've never said where it was out
Mm.
of the conversation, the agreement. And it was an honor to do these.
Mm.
And when you go to a location, leave it as you find it.
Mm. Yeah, and as you said about the believing the place as you found it, and now we're talking to locations about accessibility then, and making it enjoyable, but kind of sticking to whatever the history is. Is if you helped out a few places with that? I mean, is there one place in particular that may have been?
Yeah, so Lisa,
Mm.
my partner, she survived stage 4 breast cancer.
Mm.
She ended up in hospital 4 times with sepsis. She's absolutely amazing.
Mm.
But the treatment she had was what they call double dose, and it's left her
Mm.
with severe mobility issues.
Mm.
So, she's had to adapt. So when she came back, we were looking after the Talbot. So you're
Mm.
going up this beautiful Jacobean staircase. Now,
Mm.
you can't put a stair lift on the Jacobean staircase. So we three of us found a way to help her up the stairs.
Yes. Yeah.
So, as someone who looks at mobility issues, she'll go to the hotel and say, right, you've got a disabled toilet, but the door from outside going in is not disability friendly.
Okay. Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's those little things, because a lot of places are old. They
Mm.
can't change. Same as the Jamaica Inn, there's lots of
Mm.
steps, you know,
Yes.
and we have to find ways, because we believe no matter what your disability, everyone should be able to enjoy the
That's it.
paranormal. But
That's it.
when you book, please do say what
Mm.
mobility issues you have, so we can put on another member of staff and we can
Mm.
make sure you have a good night, same as
Mm.
everyone else.
That's it. I suppose, as you said, I suppose it's just a word of just to say that you have that kind of issue there, that may be able to arrive earlier than the public can come, maybe,
Yeah,
or go up to give them notice about we're going
yeah.
up 5 minutes into that room, if you want to make your way in your own time, or that kind of way.
There's
Uh,
some event companies out there that are doing
mm,
it and they're
mm,
fantastic.
yes.
And again, I think having someone with mobility issues yourself on your own team.
Mm,
And one thing we noticed when Lisa came back to the Jamaica Inn to do the public events, the guests were amazing. People's
mm,
attitudes have changed. She
mm,
was using a little sort of push along chair, and
mm,
they would follow her really slowly. They would open the doors, help her. Not
mm.
one person complained.
Yes, that's not. It is.
Isn't that fantastic now?
Yes, it's the respect, and that's great to have it in these. And I suppose, as you said, the venues, you see these things on TV, and all these people falling around. I'm sorry to say, like Barry Kai, there's demons everywhere, and I suppose that comes back to the history part of it. There, have you experienced anything bad on these kind of events that people have come to you and said, "Oh, I got taken by a demon. I want to get
I'm very,
compensation,"
I'm
something.
very blunt.
uh,
I don't believe in, because I'm not
yeah.
religious. I don't
Okay.
believe in evil or anything. And as I said, people say, "Oh, you can't do a Ouija board and things like that." And I said, "Well, my view is they're not real.
Mm,
But if you are worried psychologically,
mm,
you can protect yourself. Lisa might
yes.
do, the white light, etc." I said, the only thing you need to protect yourself from is your own fear.
Mm,
And I always quote an experiment that I did on a couple my age many years ago. Long before haunted dolls became fashionable, I was
mm,
given this doll called Vernon, who was supposed to be haunted. Now, if he's haunted, I'm a size 10, which obviously I'm not. So, this couple, I went into room 3 with them, and it's what you say. My
mm,
first sentence was, "This is Vernon the haunted doll." My
mm,
next sentence was, "There are no such things as haunted dolls.
mm,
I want you to do an EVP session for 10 minutes."
mm.
So I went outside to the corridor. They came out within 5 minutes because the wife said she didn't like the look of it. So the
Okay.
first sentence is the
Yes.
impact sentence.
Yes. Yes.
But the
It's put.
funny thing was, they still
Mm,
had the EVP rolling. When I checked it, a
mm.
man's voice said, I can't remember what they said something in the hallway as if it was taking the mic.
Okay. All right. You from the people there, or actually
No,
spiritual?
a spirit, a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the
Well,
because the woman still had the recorder, and I thought
there
it's
you go.
hilarious because, from my view, if ghosts are real, they have sense of humour. We have it all the time down the Jamaica Inn.
Mm,
I always say to people, if you walk in a pub, you see two sets of friends. You see one laughing, having fun. You see a group sat round the table all miserable. You're going to go to where people are laughing and joking.
true. You go where the energy is higher, where you're going to have a bit of fulfillment and fun, in that kind of way there.
Yeah.
Just got a few shout outs. Shelley Garvey says, "Hi, Anthony. How are you doing, Shelley? From Paranormal Ventures Island." Bridget from Seekers of the Afterlife. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Anthony and all. She says that is so true. It's your own fear. So, yeah, I suppose people would probably have any, like, as you said, like venues have come to you. Has there many teams or people have come to you. Have you dealt with probably a different question altogether? Have you dealt with any celebrities that have come to you, or anybody in that field yet? Or
We're lucky at the Jamaica Inn. It
mm,
attracts a lot of TV,
mm,
and we had Danny Moss when he came down with Paranormal Captured, but we get a lot of
mm.
German telly and that sort of thing. But I think the funniest when we had Freddie Flintoff down a few years ago.
Oh
Now,
wow.
Freddie's scared of the dark, and with television, you have to remember it's entertainment TV.
Mm,
So the producer took us to one side and said he's scared of the dark, scared the living daylights out of him.
mm.
So that's what we did, because
Yeah,
it was this Freddy's Fries Again series. He had Rob Penn there, and the other investigator I was with, he dropped a torch deliberately in the museum. You've never seen someone jump 6 foot in the air.
yeah,
And I they led him to room 5, and I said, right, Freddie, you're staying in one of the most haunted rooms on your own. He wouldn't. Rob
yes,
Penn had to sleep on the floor next to him.
right.
But his fear of the dark is real. He's talked about it,
Mm,
I think, on the Jonathan Ross show.
yes.
But the producer said scare him. So I wouldn't say anything paranormal happened, because that's what it wasn't. It wasn't about that.
Mm,
And that's not a lot of TV. It's not all like
mm.
it,
No, no. But I
but
suppose, as
it,
you mentioned, it's the fear thing again as well, isn't it? Like, and then it could be the apprehension that Freddie knew that something was going to be done to him, but he didn't know when or something like that. Right?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like I say, he has this caricature that he does on air.
Mm,
Off air, he's very, very quiet and very reserved,
mm.
but
Right.
a lovely man. And we had the hairy bikers down, not for the paranormal,
Mm,
come down, because the Daphne du Maurier connection is huge. In the 1950s, film
mm,
stars used to go there just to have a
mm.
look at it.
Yeah.
Diana Dors, one of our version of Marilyn Monroe, she came
Yes.
down in the 50s. And just quickly, this amazing story. Mr. Gross was the manager there, and I
Mm,
interviewed his daughter. She was about 3, and the Danish royal family came,
mm.
and she had a doll, and one of the princesses grabbed the doll off her. And I said, "What do you do?" She said, "I shoved her on her ass." She said, "My father was horrified, but the parents thought it was hilarious, because obviously no one shoves a princess on their bottom."
No, no.
But
So,
that's the draw of
mm,
places like that, because of
mm.
the Daphne du Maurier book, and
Yes.
consequently the film and series.
Yes, we're going to talk more about the Jamaican because this is going to be fascinating there. And Karin has got something very interesting to show in a brief while as well. And
Oh,
first of all,
fabulous.
it's going to be fab. I'm going to pick out a winner from the lottery jar. You can see a lottery jar on the bottom right of the screen. So I'm going to collect. There's going to be 2 of you. I'm going to pick out the names for, and the first one is going to be Queever. Queever, you're in with a chance. Stay on the show. Stay with us. You'll have a chance to enter our Halloween mega draw or win some cash. You're going to pick out another name. Shelley, Queever's mom, has got a good chance now. This is great. Now both of you got in there, and if I'll just pick one more, just in case one of you's not up. Bridget Burke from Seekers of the Afterlife. Okay, so stay tuned, keep watching there, and you'll have a chance to go into our Halloween mega draw and or win some cash later on. So the next subject we're going to be talking about the Jamaica Inn. Kevin, can you give us the background history of this location? You just touched upon a bit of it there, but can
Yeah.
you give us a little bit more about it?
So when you think of England as well as Ireland, the inns are part of our blood. Runs through our veins, and
Hmm.
centuries of inns, small, even hovels brewing their own beer, because the water wasn't safe. So everyone drank beer, and it was a community place where everyone went to. So Cornwall, as a people, are very proud. They have been trading with France, Burgundy for thousands of years, and are known as free traders. So they always saw themselves as separate to the rest of the English. I think it's that Celticness, same as the Welsh with them.
Mm.
So when people think of Bodmin Moor is between 800 and even over 1100 feet above sea level. So
Okay.
the area where the Jamaica Inn ended up is 915 feet above sea level.
Okay.
So you get, with a moor, you get the swirling mist, you get that creepiness.
Yes.
And we used to think Jamaica Inn was built in 1750. And then a few years ago, the previous owner hired a brilliant historian called Dr. Leslie Trotter, and she found a load of new information. So we now know, and this is what I love, it's not just the Jamaica Inn. There's so many inns that have a hidden history that is waiting to be discovered. So you look at that building, before
Yes.
1776, that was just wild moorland. There was no other building in the hamlet apart from an old Roman track. That was it.
Okay.
Now, Bodmin Moor is owned by the gentry, so there's different plots, etc. And we now know that a former sea captain called Captain John Broad, who was a merchant seaman captain, he his wife gave birth to their first son, and then 7 years later a second. So that tells us he was away at sea a lot, because in those days they usually had a child every 1 or 2 years.
Yes.
And when his wife died, when his second son was 3 months old, he then had a in-law family, Thomas Hawke and his wife Mary, who was also abroad, so a kinsman, a kinsperson, to look after the children. And obviously he must have wanted to earn as much money as possible. And like a lot of former sea captains, they tend to go into public houses, that sort of thing. But he was different. So his kinsman, Thomas Hawke, made a deal with Thomas Wills, who owned so many acres of land, did a lease. Now, Cornish leases are amazing. They're 99 years, or what they call life years. So you can have up to 3 people. So he had him and his 2 sons, even though his sons were children.
Yes. Okay,
so it would go down the family connection.
About 2 or 3 generations.
Exactly.
Sort of. Yeah.
And that's what happened further on. So Thomas Hawke then immediately signed that lease over to Captain Broad.
Okay.
And then the land next to Thomas Wills was owned by a man called James Scarwin. Now, his family originally came from Cornwall but lived in Surrey. They were MPs, they had connections with the island of Jamaica. And like a lot of gentry, had fingers in many pies. Now, weirdly, Captain Broad never signed a lease. It was like a handshake agreement.
Oh, right.
Now, they must have known each other through somewhere. And this is where it gets really weird. So he made an agreement to enclose 20 acres of moorland and turn it into grazing. And I spoke to a farmer. I said, right, this time period, how do you turn bracken, this wiregrass, into grazing? He said, a lot of money and a lot of labour.
Yes. All right. Okay.
Where did the money come from? Just remember that.
Yeah. Would it be? I'm thinking where the name came from as well.
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
You think, right, okay, he must have money. How did he get his money? So just think of that. So to turn it into grace, it would take 2 years, 3 years. And at his own expense. So that building that you see, he built it, but never owned it.
Okay.
And he was charged 5 shillings a quarter rent to James Scarwin.
Right.
Who would do that unless there's something else going on?
Yes. some other influence. Yes.
Yeah. So not only did Captain Broad build that, it was built as a farmhouse.
Hmm.
So 1776, by 1784, he had bought and leased other fields, and also about half a mile from the Jamaica Inn, it's called the Dry Works, where Cornwall was famous for his own porcelain because it had amazing clay.
Hmm.
I mean, where's this money coming from?
Hmm.
So, 1784, a toll road was actually then created, and surprisingly, it went past the Jamaica Inn. Obviously, you know, people in power have influence, and probably James
Hmm.
Scarwin. And by 1784, Captain Broad had married his second wife, Frances Granville, whose stepson became part of the Jamaica Inn on the lease of some of the other fields or hills. And it became the Jamaica Inn. Now, people used to say because the governors of Jamaica Inn, it was named after them. We know that isn't true. It could either be that Captain Broad sailed there, or perhaps James Scarwin, the owner of the land, probably had connections. We're not 100% sure.
Hmm.
But it was a rough and ready inn. Just think,
Hmm.
going to your local,
Yes. Yeah.
that when you
Okay.
open the door, everyone looks at you.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that a lot.
Exactly. So Captain Broad also built a smithy
Hmm.
and other buildings that you won't see that are opposite. So
Hmm.
again, all this money.
Hmm.
So we're like, okay, so he was obviously building a legacy somewhere for his sons.
Hmm.
So 1798, Captain Broad died.
Okay.
So his eldest son James, was running the pub. His younger son John was in the next village running the pub with his older wife Elizabeth.
Right.
So you imagine Captain Broad's will, he had an estate worth £250. It's a lot of money in those days. He also
Hmm.
had a lot of mules. Mules were used for transport.
Hmm.
Now, within 2 or 3 years, his sons were taking out mortgages on some of the land he bought. So whatever Captain Broad was doing when he was alive was very successful. Whatever the sons were, or perhaps if there was smuggling, they were crap at it, in other words,
Okay.
which is a shame. But by
Yeah.
1803, his oldest son James had died. He was in his 40s. 1812, his youngest son John had died.
Right.
And John's wife, Elizabeth, then in 1812 came to the Jamaica Inn and carried on the lease.
Okay.
When she left in 1829, her daughter, Annabella, was married to a Thomas Dunn. He took on the lease. And
Okay.
then what you find for the next 30, 40 years is cousin, in-law, people carry on the lease. The
Hmm.
land might change in ownership
Hmm.
with the gentry, but it carried on.
Right.
Now, with the coming of the railways in the 1840s, they had to find another way to make money.
Because there'd be
So
no the carriages would be out, being the horse and carriage on the
that's
street. Yeah.
right. So that
Yeah.
would have been a big, big part of the trade.
Hmm.
And also, our Prime Minister in the 1840s, Sir John Peel, changed
Hmm.
the law on taxing imports. So a lot of this smuggling, it wasn't
Hmm.
worth their while.
Hmm.
The brandy, the tea, the lace, you know,
Hmm.
just to tell you how big it was. I read a report in Falmouth. So the late 1700s, a ship came into Falmouth Harbour. The locals came on first, bought a load of stuff. Then the customen came in and taxed them on what was left of the stock. It was
Okay.
that open and brazen.
Right.
So
And like would like like say, would the name have any? Like you mentioned about people working hard on the land. I know you're probably going to come to this a bit. Would it have had anything to do with? I was probably comes to mind is slavery. Would there have been put people brought in from that?
No, there's
No.
no connection to Jamaica Inn in slavery.
Mm,
Um, all we know then is obviously labour was cheap and
mm,
local labour,
yes.
because the tin mines as
Mm,
well, they were gradually, the tin was sort of depleting, so people then took to the land, and again smuggling was a big part. They didn't see it as smuggling, they saw it
mm.
as free trade.
Yes. Yeah. True. Yeah. Well, it's like you look at Timu and Sheen now. You know, at the moment, you know, it's
Well,
they're not
it's
that
like
smaller.
I've
It's
said
different
during a
kind of way.
previous conversation, 30 years ago I had the pub in the centre of Bristol, and
Mm.
I had trade coming
Yes,
through.
that's it. Yeah, it's where you can do business, like you know. Yeah,
All
yeah,
local
yeah.
pubs, would
Mm,
have things off the back of a lorry.
mm.
Um, I'd go to my local pub and suddenly we're all wearing brand new trainers. It's quite a coincidence.
Someone like Del Boy walking. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
true. Yeah, yeah.
it's very much, and it would have been there as well because it was so isolated. Now, the
Mm,
thing is, if smuggling went on, where do they
mm,
put it? There's no tunnels, it's solid granite.
yes.
So I love conspiracy theories.
Mm,
So as life goes on later, 1880, the Jamaica Inn became a temperance house, meaning no alcohol.
yes.
And they didn't get their license back to 1950 after 4 attempts.
Okay.
So when Daphne du Maurier came in
Yeah.
1930, a lot of people know they came with her friend Foy. They decided to go and visit a lady across the moor,
Mm,
and the weather came down. They couldn't see, where they were, and they stopped in a dilapidated building. And Foy said, "Let the horses find their way back." Well, of course they did, because the horses came from Jamaica Inn.
mm, yes.
So the following year, in November 1931, she came back to the Jamaica Inn to stay a few days, and the local village, the church there, Outram, is known as Cathedral on the Moors.
Mm,
Beautiful church. And the vicar at the time was a man called Charles Triplett.
mm,
And he came and had afternoon tea, and he told us stories of smuggling and wrecking, because I think he was born in Falmouth, so probably he was told stories.
yes.
So he wasn't the only one, but he was one of those that inspired this amazing idea. And 5 years later, Daphne wrote Jamaica Inn.
Mm,
So she made the Vicar of Altrincham the baddie.
right.
Now,
I haven't seen the film at all at the moment, but is that based in the book? Is it? Sorry, the book. I read the
yeah.
book.
So
Yeah.
when you look at Jamaica Inn, you see the
Mm,
doorway there.
mm,
Above it's a window. That used to be an original small room. That was Mary Yellen's room in the book.
right. Okay.
And the Jamaica Inn had smaller rooms. I've got an amazing plan, a surveyor's plan, that show the layout from the time. So when you read the book, you can see what she was talking about.
Mm, I,
So she made the vicar the baddie. Now,
right.
I discovered recently, when Captain Brawl, the original builder and owner, got married again in 1784, no, sorry, 1778, my mistake, there wasn't a vicar at Altrincham, there was a curate. So he was one below from a vicar, and his name was James Benito.
Mm,
And within 2 years, this ordinary man from Cornwall was at the court of the Prince of Wales, the future George IV,
mm,
as a domestic chaplain. So, like a teacher, that wouldn't have
yes.
made any difference, because Prince of Wales was having affairs left, right, and centre, and getting drunk all the time because his father
Mm,
was Mad King George III.
mm,
But how did that man go from a curate to at the court of the Prince of Wales. Influence, if he's got family connections, or money. Where would you hide smuggled goods in plain sight? Vicarage, church.
Yes.
Now, I can't prove it.
Yeah.
But we did have a medium come down a couple of years ago, and he went into a trance, and I was asking trick questions, and he was bang on. And I asked these questions to say Captain Broad, who was channeling, and I said, where did you hide your goods? And he went like that, in plain sight. And I said, the vicarage. And this man laughed, and he wouldn't say. Now,
Yeah.
is it true? I can't prove it. It's so exciting, but just imagine to get these stories.
Yeah, it's a great place to do it. I suppose no one's going to try and ransack a vicarage, not back then
And
anyway.
also, Captain Broad's daughter-in-law, her son-in-law was a customs man.
Okay.
So was he in Captain Broad's pocket? Most likely, because a lot of them were. Judges, everyone had a hand in the business.
Yes.
But you have that side, and then you have the World War II. So you have a big connection with famous American General Patton coming to stay for 3 nights on the 23rd of June 1944. So, and Claude Finneymore, the landlord, said he brought his own ham, but he had he bought his own eggs, but he had ham and eggs every day. 12 eggs.
Jeez. So that's a lot of protein. Kind of what I'd be in the same room as him.
And then on the 3rd day, Patton then drove to Exeter train station. I've read Patton's diary, and he picked up Eisenhower, Colonel Bade, and I have a report from a soldier who said on a buff, meaning a hill, within sight of the Jamaica Inn, Patton was used, because he was called All Blood and Guts, to do a roaring speech, because obviously the D-Day landings are starting. They were gradually going through Europe to free the countries from German tyranny. I'm half German, so I see it from both points of view.
Yes.
And a local historian claims that our own General Montgomery came up to the Jamaica Inn and had a meeting. Now, there was an old-timer who unfortunately died, who was a local, grew up around the Jamaica Inn area. He said secret meetings took place there during World War II. It's the perfect place.
Yes.
Why would Patton stay there out of the whole of Cornwall? And in his diary, Patton wrote about a woman at the bar with her amazing legs.
Okay. All right. And who would that be?
We don't know. He just put it in his diary. His diary is available online to read.
Okay.
And it's like doctors writing.
Okay. All right. Oh God, that's hard. So I know doctors writing. All right. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be tough there. But go back to the Jamaica Inn. So I know it's been. I suppose it's been featured in many paranormal TV shows then as well. Can you tell us what kind of phenomena happens there, or what kind of experiences people have on the location, which are bizarre?
So the first recorded experience was 1911. Locals saw a man dressed strangely. Probably what they mean is old-fashioned. And he was sat on the wall that was outside. I don't think that is the original wall we see now. When locals tried to talk to him, he ignored them and then he disappeared. So the account was put, I think it was Country Life magazine, 1911.
Right.
Then we go through, I don't hear anything else into the 1950s when Mr.
Sorry, Karen. When they saw this man, he was inside the bar as well, was he?
No, he was sat outside the wall.
Oh, just outside, yes.
Just outside.
And then this time period, it was still a temperance kind of
Yeah.
site. Okay.
Yeah. I have a brilliant report of a man who came in, I think, in 1912. And it was all overgrown, run down. And he went round the back to the kitchen and asked the woman, is there, bed and breakfast? And she said, oh, I suppose so. He said it was the most horrible welcome ever.
Okay.
So then 1950s, Mrs. Gross, the second wife, the mother of the lady that I interviewed, she said during the day the Jamaica Inn was lovely. At night time, it changed character.
Okay.
But the man with a green cape was seen by staff on a daytime. And the other ghost, which seems to have disappeared, was a ghost that during the night when people were asleep in bed would take their clothes and fold them up neatly and put them at the end of the bed.
Okay. Well, God, that'd be great. Well, I do that myself, but I never keep me doing that. Yeah.
So then you then have from the 1970s start getting little splatters of information, because it's usually you might bump into someone or someone to write to you and say, oh, I stayed there on such a date. But obviously in the late 1990s and the 2000s, teams started going in. Most Haunted were there. I think it was 2003 or 2004.
Right.
And then it became very popular.
Yes.
So the famous ghosts are the man on the wall. Now, I thought, well, that must be a one-off. I interviewed a lady as a child in 1977. She was sat in her parents' car outside the inn, and she said, why is everyone ignoring that man sat on the wall? He looks funny. So it shows that there are still reports, but unless people tell you, you don't know.
Yeah. I suppose probably on the skeptic kind of view, you would probably say, like, because people might be dressed a bit different because of the elements, or they might be dressed a bit peculiar because of wearing.
It's fashion, because fashion has changed so much. Now, you walk down the street now, you'll see someone like a golf in a Victorian dress. You wouldn't bat an eyelid.
No, true. Yeah, you're right.
But
yeah.
it could be a ghost.
True. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You see someone walk past you in armor, you think, oh, they're going to a reenaction battle. So then you look, if you get the picture up of the front of the hotel, if you can.
Okay, no worries, yeah.
So the original Jamaica Inn, above the doorway to the right, you have room 4 and room 5. And then to the left of the doorway, you have room 3 and room 7. So those, and room 6 behind, those are the original bedrooms.
Okay.
And they take away 7 because that used to be something different. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are the famous haunted ones. So room 3, you have the crying woman and the crying baby. We think it might be a lady called Mary Downing, who sued the landlord Thomas Dunn in 1834 to recognise their bastard son, Thomas Dunn Downing.
Okay.
You get the children, you get a boy and a girl everywhere.
Right.
Room 4, you have the tricon man and the hooded figure. So the hooded figure, again, be protecting and not saying straight away is a monk. It seems to be a pilgrim, because obviously there was a pilgrim route.
Okay.
Then room 5, Hannah, this one that people leave presents to, is a made-up folklore. It's not real.
All right. Okay.
That's room 3.
That's the Victorian girl, is it?
You go to most haunted, something was said and then people change things. That's why we like to be very careful and say supposedly.
Yes.
Now, the Victorian girl, I've seen her. I've got reports going back over 30 years. Beautiful child with long blonde curly hair, a dark dress and a white oversmock. Typical late Victorian, might even be Edwardian.
Okay.
Room 5, you get children. You get the tricorn man who's been seen outside the door and inside. Room 6, the man in the doorway. Children again. But the rooms were different because they never had ensuite bathrooms. So there were
Okay.
more rooms.
There were more rooms. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
because there'd be no, yeah, and there'd be
So
wider kind of rooms.
so the man who in room 6 stands in the bathroom doorway watching people asleep,
Mm.
before 1972, he wouldn't be looking into room 6. He would be looking into a miniature hallway with a door going into room 6, and the bathroom was another bedroom.
All right, fascinating. Yeah.
Um, then you have the Victorian lady. Now, rooms 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 didn't exist before 1972. So why
Mm.
do we have paranormal reports? Does that mean ghosts see the Jamaica Inn in real time?
Yes, that they can venture
Perfect,
anywhere they want. Yeah.
perfect example. 2018,
Mm.
we were doing a private hire. I was looking the wrong way, as usual, and two other ladies who I know very well. One was looking to where the fireplace was, and sat in a modern chair with his elbow on a modern table was a man whose
Mm.
description I've had outside room 5, in room 4, etc. Black curly hair, beard, white frills, tight breeches, high boots, so late 1700s clothing. He's like that. And she said
Mm.
it was the expression sort of like, half amusement, half, what are you doing? Weirdos. And then he was gone.
Yeah.
Because they, so if ghosts are real,
Mm.
we must be weirdos.
Yeah. And was this seen by one person? Sorry, Karin, was it
One
all by?
person,
Yeah.
but a lady saw the same description 2016, and
Mm.
she reported it to me earlier in 2018.
Mm.
And if you watch Haunted Britain Investigates on YouTube, they came down 2018. Their medium stood outside room 5, picked up the same thing.
Okay.
So then you get correlation
Yes.
of reports, and that's what we try to say. We had 5 years of a US airman reports gone.
Yeah.
Has he
That's all
gone
got.
back home? Is he
Yeah.
disappeared?
Yeah. Has anybody left the building overnight, or there's been incidents where they felt like they needed to get away? Does that
Oh,
happen there?
a soldier was in
Mm.
room 5, and
Mm.
he had so many weird things happen. He slept in his car. Then we
Okay.
had a guest in room 5 who took photos of wet child footprints, who stormed down to reception, accusing the inn of sneaking in the night and setting up a prank.
Okay. Yeah. Because that real, that's how they
Yeah.
felt. Yeah.
I've been in room 5 with a friend and had footsteps walking around from one side of the room to the other.
Mm.
I've seen the little girl. But one thing we've noticed, with private and public hire, the ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call them, if they like you, they'll do subtle things.
Mm.
So one night we had a public night, and then we had a load of pewter tankards in one line above the bar.
Mm.
It's 2 in the morning, and we're just calling out, and suddenly someone said, "What's that?" And just one tankard
Mm.
was just doing this for a full minute.
One, and that's unusual if it's a row of them then as well.
Is that
Yes.
just one?
Yeah.
And then you get the stories from the night porters, who obviously have to do a lot of cleaning during the night
Mm.
as well. Um, there was a young lad who used to work there, and he went to the top of the restaurant, and there's an entrance into the kitchen, and he saw a figure come out and then walk behind a counter, just disappear. And I said, "Well, what did you do?" He said, "I walked back in the main bar." He said, "I'm not going back in there for a while."
I think I'll have a shot after that. I just.
I've seen shadows just stood there, and I'm like, did I just see that? But Craig from our team had the best one last June, and I think it was a prank on him.
Okay.
We're finished doing off the public event in the main bar. He was in the stable block, putting the chairs back, tidying up.
Mm.
And he said he just had an adrenaline dump for no reason. Now, this man is a Coast Guard, first responder, doesn't get scared of anything.
Mm.
And then in his ear, he just had a voice go,
Oh
said he
God.
jumped out of his skin. Now, I
Yeah.
think it's not someone trying to scare, it's someone going, I'm going to wind you up.
Yeah. 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 It's not something bad, but it's just a wind up merchant type of spirit. Yeah. No, who
If
can't
I
be
was a
like?
ghost,
Yeah.
I would be so naughty.
We're just going to touch quickly on this before we go on to the Supernatural UK, and this is with great respect. I'm just going to talk about this now. Karin has got. Is this the school from the Jamaica Inn? Is it, Karin?
Yes, so when the museum was set up by Cecil Williamson, about 30, 40 years, they used to have Potter's Museum there, all these stuffed weird animals that was sold off, I think, in the early 90s.
Mm.
Then Cecil then brought his smuggling museum to the Jamaica Inn, and one of it was the skull. And you can't see on the label, but it was claimed to be a pirate that was buried in an abbey, very romantic.
Mm.
So I've been there for many years, and when the Jamaica Inn was taken over by the Coaching Group, they decided to refurbish the museum. And I said, look, if the skull's not going back, I've never had a present. I would be so honoured to be the next person to look after it.
Mm.
So the CEO of the Coaching Group said, well, let me have a think. And then 2 days later, Katie, bless her, the manager, messaged me. She said, weirdo, it's yours. And he sits under my desk.
So there we
Now,
are, folks.
I don't know if he's male or female. One day I will go to Oxford University and I will have all the tests done to find out the origin where this person was built. But I have a lot of respect because A, is part of the Jamaica Inn history, but just alone, who was this person? What was his life or her life about?
Mm. Yeah, and it's great. It's great to you acknowledge that you have it, and you acknowledge that you're going to try and research and see who this person is, as you
Exactly.
just said.
And,
It's
it
great.
was a person, so, you have to be ethical about it as well. But
Mm.
I am, honestly, it's like, to me, it's like winning the lottery to have a piece of the Jamaica Inn.
Mm. It's such great. I just got to come to a few questions there.
Yeah.
Bridget says, "Be great to investigate it there. It'd be great to go to that area of the country as well. So, Cornwall, isn't it? There,
Oh,
Kareem?
there's so many wonderful places. Bodmin Jail, Pengenna
Mm.
Manor. There's tons.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is there any other amenities that are close by? Where would be the nearest airport?
Probably further down south. Or Exeter is an hour. It's an hour away. Exeter, if you drive.
Okay. Cleaver says, "Have you ever had a spirit follow you home after an investigation?"
Well, see, I don't believe in attachments, but my house was built in the 1950s, council house, and I've had weird things happen, but I don't consider it haunted. Friends of mine who are mediums say that Jack, our naughty spirit from the Jamaica Inn, if we're somewhere else, Elisa say, oh, Jack's come up. I said, where is he? Over there. I said, well, tell the get to talk to me when we're at the Jamaica Inn.
I know, yeah. Why now? Why now?
It's like, lovely, but when
there's a moment and a place for that.
Talk to me. Because he's naughty. We had one year where he grabbed people's right buttock, male and female, on command when they were in different parts of the inn and
just
not
the right
knowing.
buttock. Just
the
right
buttock. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. That is it. Well, that's there's a pattern there.
There was one chap. He was in the upper restaurant. He didn't know what we were saying. He came back and he said he could feel the thumb digging into his thigh.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
Never grabbed my buttock there. I'm so disappointed.
Why not? I want to experience that myself. Anyway, I will come back to. We're going to talk about the Supernatural UK. The time has flown there. First of all, though, Quiver and Shelley, can you give us numbers between 1 and 4, 5 and 8, and 9 and 12? So that's a number between 1 and 4, 5 and 8, and 9 and 12. So if you're there, Quiver and Shelley, if you could just give us those numbers there, just type them in there. So we're going to be talking about the Supernatural UK, which is a very I'm loving it so far.
Oh,
There,
thank you.
I think it's been 6 episodes so far, hasn't it? There, Kareem.
Yes, yes.
So we're going to dive into that there. So Quiver, Bridget as well. If you want to put some numbers in, just in case Quiver and Shelley can't do it, there puts a number between 1 and 4, 5 and 8, and 9 and 12. Um, so yeah, so Kareem, how did the production of the Supernatural UK get started? Who put the wheels in motion?
Well, it was weird because myself and Lisa work for an accountant. Craig is our boss. He's a chartered accountant, though he looks like a surfer dude. And a few years ago, we were doing an investigation in an old manor house in Wales, and he brought along a friend who was a client, and it was John. So we did a bit of filming. Lovely chap, so easy to talk to. He has a fascination of the paranormal, but
Mm,
most of his work is filming for Channel 4. He's done Millionaire Homes, Canals. He's done lots of things. He writes scripts. Very, very talented, creative. Then about 2 years ago, we were chatting, and he said, "Oh, I fancy doing a little bit paranormal myself."
mm,
So, because I'm involved with Visit Somerset, we called it the Supernatural. It was just going to be based on the Somerset thing.
mm,
And then Andy, a friend of his, who's a brilliant cameraman as well, an editor, they come along. We decided then, no, we're going to call it the Supernatural UK.
mm,
So the nicest thing is you have these professional people that still work on the TV shows and everything, and in their spare time, they spend hours, hundreds of hours of clipping down, and the format is breathtaking.
mm,
John's wife said, you know, John likes to film and watch people.
mm.
So he's not telling you what to do or what you just scream, this is
Yes,
real. And I
genuine.
think
Yeah.
he doesn't realize how lucky, I keep telling
Mm,
him,
mm,
he's been having weird things happen. And
mm.
to him as well.
Yes.
So before they were going to hide behind the camera,
Mm,
but now they've become part of it. They
mm.
tell the story, and I'm so honored to be co-producer
Yes.
or interferer, most likely.
No, you're not.
Um, so some of the places that we've done, Walton Castle, this former folly that is near Clevedon in Somerset. We couldn't believe this amazing tapping that we had. And we went back months later and still had it. And again, it's the trust of the people you're with, but
Mm,
also every episode they have this amazing AI tarot reader.
mm.
And we all have ordinary jobs. I'm the bookkeeper, Lisa's survivor, Craig's the
I,
accountant,
I love
Kev
this.
Kerr is the engineer.
Yes.
Um, you've got who else is there? Um,
Yes.
oh, Justin, the teacher.
Mm.
Um, Di is a hairdresser. Oh, Amy Cox, a kickboxer. Don't
Yes.
argue with her. I'll tell you, she'll beat you up. Um, but it's a wonderful concept showing
Mm.
investigators who have jobs but love the paranormal.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I love it. Like it's very original. It's authentic, original, and it's great to see that. It's I love that kind of aspect. As you mentioned, the people from normal kind of backgrounds, they have an interest, they have they have an interest in it, but they share their experiences and to put them into working with each other there. And there's a picture there because it's the first episode. I think it's Justin and Diane there because
Yeah.
they're two different perspectives.
Yes, that one.
Mm.
So Justin is the ultra skeptic, but him and Di, they know each other and they really gel. And, I'm not a believer in haunted dolls, but that night they had really weird things happen. And you have to respect, we all have different beliefs. And the nicest thing is showcasing someone's belief to someone else's belief, putting them together and seeing what happens.
Yes.
Because you have no idea.
Yes.
But every episode, a weird thing has happened. I mean,
don't give too much away, but
they're not long episodes because we know, as you know yourself, hours and hours, and you might have to just say 3 or 4 things happen. And people don't want to sit there watching hours of like, oh God, nothing's happening. So just show the bits that do. But the creativeness of Andy and John and being behind the camera and watching this magic. Coming up soon, we have Warwick Castle. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
2 nights filming there. It was a dream come true.
Yes.
I mean, what an honour.
And I was just going to say that, was it hard initially picking these places there? Is it like, as you can say, like, as I know how it feels with filming these locations there, that it can be the sound. I suppose Andy and John would have had a lot of trouble, like with or audio as well as in noise pollution from outside buildings, as probably like in the episode one with the pub.
I mean, like you say, when we were at Bolton Castle with the tap-in, you had 5 of us all mic'd up. You had the mics on the camera, the audio of the camera, and that John was hearing things we weren't. So when they edited it all down, we were sometimes not hearing responses.
Yes.
But the first set of tapping sounded like scratching in the wood. When we went back, it was a different sort of sound. But again, still responses.
Was this tapping, because I watched the episode, was it there, was there a bass, like kind of line, as you could say, like a bass line? Was there anything happening, these knocks or scratching happening when there was nobody asking questions?
No.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, the first one went on for 20 minutes, and I've said to John, when the series is finished, you've got to put that segment up to see it, because I've had an hour and a half of intelligent tapping once, and your jaw is on the floor because I was asking trick history questions. Whatever this was getting it right. They claimed they were an African-American secretary from the Second World War. And I thought, went to a friend of mine who specialises in that. She said, yeah. And then Netflix, a few months ago, you had this brilliant film about the African-American women who sorted out the postal disarray of letters.
Yes.
So, again, it's this hidden history.
They're influential. Many people from different.
Yeah. And it's also showcasing places. I mean, Shepton Mallet. Everyone knows Shepton Mallet. But Bath Theatrical Costume Hire. This is, you wouldn't expect to have weird things happen in a warehouse. So, is it the costumes? Is it the real World War II uniforms that have been donated? There's a dress from 1890 with a picture of the woman wearing it on her wedding day.
Yes. Yeah, I just got to say, I've got to ask you another question about what makes it stand out. But this is like the house. Was it the Museum of Frankenstein? Is this?
Yes, in
Yeah,
Bath. Yes.
yes. And I remember Kev, who we've had on this series this year. We've interviewed him there. You mentioned there was a door incident. Now, I don't want to
Oh,
go too fully into it, but people, yeah, like Jonathan says, Watson, who's just commented on holidays now, so going to Blitz Supernatural UK. I think there's, yeah, definitely watch it there. It's very interesting there.
that
Uh,
door, because I was present
hmm,
in the room, literally 4 foot away. I
hmm.
mean, Kev is a very, very good investigator. He always tries to find a rational explanation.
Yes, he's
By
very,
the
yeah, he's
sound,
very good.
we all heard it. We thought it was a flat. And
Hmm,
someone thought, oh God, they're filming. I better be quiet. And you
hmm,
could hear the shuffling.
hmm.
It was bizarre, absolutely bizarre.
And this is another location I was watching there, and I was like, oh, I sent the shivers down me. Not that it's just because it's unusual. It's the theatre there, and there was a big storm happening, and you could hear
Oh,
it like, oh,
yes.
and I bet that was really it's cool. I know it's kind
Yeah,
of, I
I
know
was
it's yeah,
hiding
yeah,
under the stage,
mm,
and that pane of glass.
mm,
So the storm probably blew it out, but we couldn't find where the glass was.
yes,
The fragments. You
yes,
would have thought the storm would have blown the glass in, not out.
mm, yeah, it would have blown in, and that would probably only mean that there was some other draft coming from
Yeah.
inside the building to blow it out. So it would probably make it even more louder then as well, wouldn't it? I
But
suppose.
what
But then
I
there'd be
love,
revenants on the outside, then, wouldn't there?
but what I love is that they
Mm,
put up when we hear things or the Estes method,
mm,
so you can see if the person is hearing the same as what they're saying.
mm,
Um, and I mean that takes so much time and effort to do it. And
mm.
I can say that we're doing season 2. We're gonna be filming.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. That's supposed to be another 10 minutes time. You're supposed to say that, Carrie.
Oh, sorry, I'm excited.
I'm only joking. You jumped ahead there, but yeah, there's as Carrie says, there's going to be a series two, which is great. There, it's going to be amazing. What makes it stand out more? Because you mentioned a few things, like you mentioned people from different jobs, but they're all there's a lot of people that have an interest in the paranormal as well. Some familiar faces there as well.
Mm.
What else makes it stand out?
I think the honesty,
Mm,
and
mm,
for us, it's not about being famous. It's doing something we love,
mm,
and the cameras are a bonus.
mm. What I
That's the
did
only way
notice,
to put
what
it.
I liked the second from last episode, the Dr. Kate and the
Oh,
dog. The people were watching this. There was I forget. I'm sorry now. I don't know the dog's name, but the dog was a paranormal investigator itself. It's not that's not its job, but its job is to a security dog, wasn't it? Like
the
it's.
interesting thing, you
Mm,
didn't see the other trainer. So when they
mm,
arrived, the woman was more frightening than the dog to me. I wouldn't mess with her. She was lovely.
mm,
But we were given clear instruction. This dog was so highly trained. Do not go near the dog. Do not look at the dog.
mm,
It is
mm,
trained for riots, for detecting people. This dog was, I think, it was 7 years old, not scared of anything.
mm,
And it went all round, and I mean all round the museum, the prison.
mm,
And this one prison cell is the one I think that's had paranormal reports. And to see this dog go the way they did, the trainer was gobsmacked. It's never
mm,
behaved like that. It's not scared of anything.
mm,
But what did that dog see that we didn't?
mm,
We didn't expect that at all.
mm.
And
Yeah,
then
and
as soon as the dog went past, because we had one
mm,
comment that was cruel, and it was like, hang on, as soon as the
mm,
dog went past that cell,
mm.
it was back to normal.
Yes. That was that up on an upper floor? Was that on the upper?
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing that I would probably say myself as a probably skeptic, if I was a skeptical mind, would be that because dogs walking maybe on iron kind of flooring, which is kind of bad. I mean, they can't get up as easy as
No,
people would.
he'd walked around it no problem. Just when he got to
Mm.
that one cell, which that was the weird thing.
Yeah, if you watch it there, folks, there do watch it there because it's very unusual how the dog reacted there. It's like it lost its feet, or it didn't know what to do. It was cowering,
It wouldn't
and
go past that door.
yes,
But
it's
what a
very.
genius thing of John to think of
Mm,
bringing that into the prison.
yeah, it's a great idea, and that's what I like about the show is the series so far. It's a wide range of different experiments so far. Like,
Oh, you haven't
just
seen nothing yet. You
all right.
just can see.
Okay, okay, that's great because I love it. There, it's something a bit different. It's original and it's different. It's great to touch all these things.
Mm.
As mentioned, we wrote a few ones there's a second episode coming up now about uh, it's the
Theatrical with Kate
yeah,
Ray.
yeah,
Now, when I met Kate at a Parameet, she did her talk about fairies and everything, and
mm,
I never believed in it. Her talk was mind blowing. And
mm,
then in this house, I had an experience Easter, Good Friday. My
okay,
husband's 6 in the morning, taking the dogs out for a walk. I'm on the settee watching telly, and I get field mice because we're on the edge of Bristol. I get field
mm,
mice, but the corner of my eye, I saw it was like a big mouse walk on hind legs, walk past with no tail, and I was like, "What the hell?" I got up and looked. I thought it was your imagination, and then I
yeah,
messaged Kate and I said, "I feel so embarrassed because it goes against my skepticism." And I
mm,
explained what I saw. She said, "Oh yeah, it's I can't remember the name of it." She said,
mm,
"Yeah." She said, "My old boyfriend saw it." So
mm,
now I'm fascinated to explore a world that I never thought would matter to me.
mm. That's a little hint, isn't there? What's coming up? Because like I know you've got to be touching a bit diverse on other stuff.
She 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 is amazing, and when this episode comes up on Monday, I can't wait. I mean, I was there for about a couple of hours and then I went home. They stayed there all night.
Mm, yeah. That's. I know. There's sometimes you think, oh god, there's a bit too much there, but when you're getting so much stuff, then when there's more that'll keep your adrenaline going, and you be like,
Yeah. I
wow, like,
think it's her enthusiasm, and
mm,
you meet people and they just ooze something.
mm, mm,
My boss Craig is so laid back.
mm,
You think nothing could spook him. And
mm,
yet, that experience at the Jamaica Inn, he was the one you saw at the Savoy Theatre.
mm.
He walked in, eyes like saucers, and I was like, yes, someone got you, because I've tried.
I'm just going to ask you a question now. I've got to be a bit naughty now. Like, is there any kind of habits of you, say you've noticed with anybody there that have been associated with the show, maybe Andy or John, that you've noticed that feel, or they felt of you that you think are bad, or anything that you know kind of makes you a bit. Well, do you know what I mean? Makes you cringe or something like that. I'm looking for saucy stuff, like funny stuff. You know.
Well, for me, the one thing that I find hilarious, you saw
Mm,
it at Walton Castle and at Savoy,
mm,
things happen to John.
mm.
So at Walton Castle, the second episode, he took his shirt off because something kept tugging it. He goes, "Oh, I don't like this." At the Savoy,
Yeah.
he has this heavy camera on this
Mm,
really strong tripod. Three
mm.
times it got knocked.
Yes. Yes.
And you could see Andy filming him. John's going, "It's not me.
Mm,
It's
yes.
not me." And he said, "I don't want it to happen to me."
No.
But I think something is curious about him, or maybe he has um, a talent, or maybe he has a hidden psychic side. Who knows?
Yes. Maybe something led him to this kind of thing. As you said, you were talking to him before, and
Yeah,
how to the Andy and John there, and how it all came about. Maybe there's something else behind it on the spiritual side.
he's filmed in France. Had a weird experience in I think it was like a tent out in the grounds of a chateau.
Hmm,
In a place in Bath, he was filming. He told me this story. It's amazing, and he thought his assistant had come behind looking over his shoulder, and he's concentrating doing some back shots. He's like, he wanted to say, well, just go away a minute.
Mm.
Turned round, no one there. Walked
Mm.
back to the manager, and his assistant's with the manager, and he said, did you come up to me a minute ago? And the lad said no.
Mm.
And the manager said, oh, you've met Mr. So and so.
All right. So yeah, there's a no. He's probably prone of. He's probably secret unknowingly, but now he does sort of know that stuff could be happening to him, and this pans well for what's happening now with your film, with the film of the second series, and it's currently still. So it's 6 episodes. Is it 10 altogether? Is it
10 episodes.
10
And
episodes?
then next month, then they start filming 2 episodes.
Mm.
And then obviously it needs to be edited down.
Mm.
But I can't tell you, but obviously off camera I did tell you.
Mm.
This amazing location with amazing people. Just
Mm.
trying to organise 7 people for
Mm.
one night is going to be a nightmare. But I think as well, if you're the places that have been so generous. I was at a meeting and another famous place, the manager was there. He went, oi, why haven't you been to my place? And I was like, yes, all right. How lovely to have a venue say, oi,
Yeah,
you better
that's
come
great.
to us.
There's going to be a lot of episodes and locations there, sis. There, Shirley says something you love and getting to do with like-minded people. Yeah,
Oh,
so
it is. It is. And, in the paranormal, I mean, okay, there are sometimes, as you know, there's an underbelly, it's not very nice, but
mm,
generally there's some lovely people, and it doesn't matter
mm,
what our beliefs are.
mm,
Try each other's approach to investigate. And I go out with my friend who's a
mm,
medium. She's right, Car, senses, and I'm terrible at it, but I'll
mm,
give it a go because that's how she does it. And then I'll say, right, you try my way for a minute.
mm.
And that's how we learn from each other.
And I'd just like to say fair dues to yourself, Andy, and John as well, for giving a wider knowledge of people to investigate as well. That's full credit to yourselves there.
It's
It could be
ordinary
just
people.
about yourself. It could be just about
Yes.
yourself. But you've included a large genre of people there. Even Chris, who fell asleep on one of our investigations. I was in Worcester Mansion.
Yeah, he always does. I've got a photo with him, you see. Yeah.
He didn't bring any spiders, did he, to any of my places?
Oh, yeah, we played a prank on someone. That one of his spiders, they shed a skin. He sprayed it with hairspray, and we put it in this friend's bag because he's scared of spiders. And oh my God, he saw it whoop, up in the air, and then it sort of fell to bits. But it was brilliant, absolutely
Oh, that's
brilliant.
funny.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
most importantly,
Hmm.
it's showing people that aren't known probably in the paranormal world. And they are like us all, normal people that love investigating
Hmm.
and are, some people, like I say, Kev Kerr's an engineer, Craig's an accountant, but we're all on the same level when we investigate.
True, yes. You're sharing that experience, and it's so wonderful, as you said before, we were talking. The past few days, it's so wonderful to be sharing these experiences there with people, then, and these locations, and having this time together. Louise, I think it's Louise there. Hi, everyone. Northeast Paranormal Island. How you doing, Louise? She's saying hello back to Shelley there. Shelley's saying, love this. Each to their own, and just enjoy and learn.
Yeah.
That's true, yes. That's true there.
I've
Um,
learned off a brand new investigator one night because
hmm,
the enthusiasm and the excitement rubbed off on me. Because when you do things a lot, sometimes you get a bit stayed with it. And
hmm,
I so enjoyed investigating with this brand new person. I thought, you have taught me something valuable. Never be arrogant
hmm.
and think you know it all, because none of us do.
Yes. No, it's good. Yeah, it's learning off people there, and it's learning off other teams. As teams that I worked with, and like been to their public events. It's like, wow, that is so cool. It's
Yeah,
so interesting in how they set up things, and you do learn from things. Like just recently, I've been on which is now, as you can see, the bottom right is the trailer for Redwood Castle. But there was a team that were hosting that event at that
Oh,
castle there,
lovely.
and learning how they work and seeing how they like the little things like saying mark when you see something or hear
Yeah,
something, and you say and that kind of that good timing when I've got a video camera and it's shining at, with infrared on one side, and I'm turning it and it's not hitting off their infrared camera. One of the lads saying Mark actually pinpoints that it's not my camera shining
yeah,
at another infrared camera to make what they've seen probably a ghost, but it wasn't because it was shining it off where. Anyway, if
yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah. Bridget says we learn from each other. Yes, definitely, Bridget. There, each team is different. There, each team is different, and it's great to learn off different people there as
I
well.
mean,
There.
exactly. My education was terrible because I went to a really rough school. The only thing I did well was history
Mm,
and typing. Funny
mm,
enough, I'm a good typist, but my love of history has been ignited through the paranormal, and
mm,
I remember because I love it.
mm.
Don't ask me about tax and stuff like that, but I go, oh,
The history of tax. Oh my god! A type
yeah,
out. The words you don't need to type out anyway. That's a lost job.
yeah.
So you get AI to do it.
We all bring something. When you've got a group of
Yeah.
you, each
Mm,
person brings something unique to the table, and
definitely.
then some weird way, magically, things
Mm,
happen,
mm,
and
definitely.
that's what's been recorded in the shows.
Mm,
And fingers crossed, long may it continue and just carry
definitely.
on and build. And um, those who buy Take a Break, Fact and Fiction, the monthly one, because I do, um, they might see an interview by John in it in the October special out
There we
any
go.
day now.
Yeah, we do get take a break here. Yeah, we do. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
I'll check that out there as well.
And Haunted Magazine,
Mm.
Kate Ray wrote an amazing article about the supernatural UK, and I wish I could write. I'm not a gifted writer. Lisa's amazing. Everyone else is
Mm.
amazing. I can talk the hind legs of a donkey, but I can't write.
Well, you can. You can put word to. You can put word to text now, so you're fine. There,
Oh,
so you
Chat
can,
GPT, if you
yeah.
type your name in, it makes you sound amazing.
So we're just gonna. I'll come back to you now and how people can contact you there, Karin, and how people can watch the show there. So we're just gonna do this first thing. Oh, we're gonna do the trailer first. So coming up, Halloween Extravaganza 5 is gonna be out. A show, 3 hours show where we're going to be interviewing interesting people like Karin. And where you can win the prizes of what we're going to do with the Halloween Mega Draw. But we're going to show the premiere of Redwood, Hide or Shriek. It was a paranormal investigation we did with Puckervo Paranormal, PJ, Leo, and Aoife recently. And this is the trailer.
Hide and shriek. The children play, not knowing what stalks the darkened way.
Now that will go off another time.
Whispers crawl through floorboards deep. Something wakes that should still sleep.
Are you hiding from someone?
And one less voice will rise today.
Sure. Yeah. So
Oh, wow, I've seen that. Go, Margaret. Arish.
thank you so much.
Wow, that is amazing. I got that.
Okay, so that is Redwood, Hide or Shriek. So that's coming up towards the weekend, the bank holiday weekend, on a Halloween Extravaganza 5. Now we're just going to go and show who, if you're there, Quiver and Shelley, family members. I don't know if you're going to rob me with some money today. You could win cash, or you could put your name into the Halloween Mega Draw, or you could put Karin into the Halloween Mega Draw. Let's check this out now. So, Quiver, you picked 4, 7, and 10. And Shelley, you picked 3, 6, and 11. Let's see how you get on. It's astral travel. So double the chances. Good luck with it now. Actually, Kev Curley's in the Halloween mega draw as well. So 3 and 4. Oh, it's game over for Queever. But your name is in the Halloween mega draw now, Shelley. You continue on. So well done there, Shelley. You put your name into the Halloween mega draw. Now you picked number 6. Good luck with this. Let's see what you get. Here it goes. Oh, you put your name twice in the prize draw now. That means your name goes in twice. Well done, Shelley. So your name is twice. Oh, no, is it game over? Oh, no, it's 4, 5. No, it's names of the prize draw. I've lost count of the numbers there. I've lost count of the numbers. Wait there. It's number 11, which is the bottom left. I think your name's twice in the prize draw there, Shelley. Let me see. 3 times. Any luck? Oh, no, it's game over. Put your name in the prize draw twice. Well done there, Shelley. Sorry there now, Queever. Sorry now. I'm sorry there. There we go. That's the astral travel there. And well done, Shelley. Karin, can you tell us where people can contact you, the Paranormal Consultant, and how people can watch the Supernatural UK?
Yeah, so the Supernatural UK is on YouTube. And make sure you put the, otherwise you'll have Supernatural the series come up. So the Supernatural UK. It's free to watch as well. And please do comment because, it helps. Click, subscribe. But also, we like the feedback because it helps us think, well, what should we try differently next time? So Jamaica Inn, we do have a Facebook page, the Jamaica Inn Paranormal Investigation page. I'm on Facebook. I chat to everyone. My number's on the internet, but I never get rude phone calls because the picture's next to it and they go, no, she's too old.
Nobody makes phone calls anymore. Nobody does it over phone calls anymore.
Yeah. Although I did have a stalker last year. That was so hilarious. I had to go to the police and get them to stop. That was my claim to fame.
Okay. And what I was going to say, and so I'm just going to ask 3 more questions. Would you, like Bridget says, would you be old school, like using rods? Would you use a lot of them for? Would you use them as equipment? Do you use a lot of equipment?
I've gone all my life. I've gone through stages, and now I like to use history. So I love the Singapore experiments. So I like recreating a period in time. Generally, at the moment, I'm doing World War II. So I have an array of amazing, genuine World War II medals. We've dressed up in real World War II uniforms. I couldn't get my ass in the trousers, so I had to wear a military policeman's jacket that my dad would have worn in the 50s. So that was amazing. We find we have fantastic stuff. Also, language. I love talking and going back in time and experimenting with accents. And I've got the Lord's Prayer in so many different variations down the centuries, which is brilliant. I might use a bit of tech, but I'm very, unless it sort of hits you in the face, I'm very skeptical now. I've had everything under the sun. I love the stuff that Andy Guy does from Scribe. Amazing. Because of this research and the technology, I get all his stuff fabulous, and I've got loads of it for the Jamaica Inn because obviously when you do public night, people like to use things, etc. We explain the honesty with everything. There's no proof that anything detects ghosts. Dowsing rods, they always tell me I'm fat.
Ghosts.
Do you know what you do your yes and no? I say to the guests, even pendulums, and I say, right, it's broken because I say, am I fat? And it says, yeah, always says yes. And I said, see, it's broken. It doesn't like me.
Yeah,
So make a joke. But again, for me, do I do the Ouija board? Yeah, I love it. Do I believe it? Not really. But there's no harm. I don't believe anything can attract evil, etc. The only thing that haunts me is my 97-year-old mother, who's German and keeps saying, why is she still alive? And I keep saying, I don't know, because it's really getting on my nerves now because I don't look after you. But life is exciting, being with wonderful people. And most of our friends we know now are para friends.
Yes.
You might only see each other 2 or 3 times a year, but when you get together, it's like you only spoke to them yesterday. How lucky are we doing what we do?
It's true. It's great to be doing it. People are like-minded people there, and they can be familiar with sort of experiences themselves or opinions there. But as long as you're like-minded and share that kind of curiosity, it's great. I'm the same, says Louise. I love history, so it's special when you're in these places. It's very special. I think Louise is talking about the trailer, or I don't know if she's talking about me. Anyway, I'll move on there. And Creever says, I'll be back. Yeah, I don't put the numbers there. I don't deliberately put the numbers that you don't win. But Shelley says, yay, twice feels like I've won the Euro Millions. Yeah! If you only knew what the prizes would be for Halloween. All smiley faces, really brilliant interview. Yeah, cheers there, Shelley. Thank you there from Paranormal Adventures Ireland. Great to have everyone's input. Thank you for everyone that asked questions there or put their opinions across there. Karin as well, really appreciate having you on tonight.
Oh, it's an honour for asking me. Thank you so much.
And looking forward to more of the series coming up and the second series. That's, folks, second series that will be coming out as well. For the next show, it's a jubilation. We invite Michael J. Litchins, author, researcher, and editor to the GhostÉire Channel. Michael will be enlightening us with his knowledge about Ossuary churches, Ossuary churches is to do with bones, churches with bones. Incorruptibility, which is to do with the decomposition of people. So the Catholic Church, where the bodies don't rot or decompose, and Catholic ghost stories. So that's on the next show there on the GhostÉire Channel.
Nice.
Jonathan, I don't know what Jonathan says. I think he's just amazed that he's just come gobsmacked and silent. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Karin. It's been such a pleasure and honour to have chatted to you there. And I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend and stay safe there and paranormal investigating. Okay, without further ado, cheers, everyone. I won't see you next time. I'll see you in the near distance. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Can you wave, Karin? I haven't pressed stop yet. Okay, I'm going to press stop. Bye. I'll be stopped. Okay.
Oh, my